You want to know the worst part about traveling, and I know each and every one of you agree with me? Leaving these guys behind. Ooh, you can really see the areas that I've been sweating where my tan is coming off, so that's really attractive. Every time I move my hair, you can see the dandruff from the dry air in Denver. Again, real hot. I don't know what that guy does upstairs, but it's like I turn on the camera and he's like, let me start banging on the floor. Am I not in the middle here? Why is the middle over there? It feels so off. If you guys have a Persian cat at home, can you tell me if their hair grows this fast? Like, I swear if my hair grew... Okay. All right, that's the last time we're touching our hair for the rest of this video. No, it's not. Hey guys, what's going on? If you're new here, welcome. My name is BrittanyNichole, and no, my voice does not normally sound like this. I am extremely congested, and I have been for about a week now, but the show must go on. I haven't filmed for over a week actually, and I have just been craving sitting down, so I thought I'll just bear through it, and I hope this doesn't annoy you that much. I know I sound funny and kind of manly, but it's okay. We're gonna get through it. So the reason I'm doing this video is because I have been on a work conference trip for the last week, and I got super sick, so I wasn't able to allow myself enough time in the morning to get ready. So I really kind of refined my morning routine when I have to get ready to do something for work. So I'm not talking about doing eyeshadow like a smoky eye. Honestly, I didn't even do eyeshadow, and that's I think what really cuts down this routine. But my makeup ended up lasting all day long. I was so impressed. When we have these work meetings, we go from 7 in the morning to like 12 o'clock at night because we have happy hours and we have dinners and all those things. So I really need my makeup to stay in line, and I do not like to travel heavy no matter how long I'm traveling. You guys, I went on a 15-day trip once. There was a cruise and then a like airplane, and we stayed in a hotel for a while before the cruise. I packed a carry-on for that. Like, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but toot. I can get my stuff together to really kind of break it down to bare bones and, you know, still be able to have new outfits every day and have everything I need to get ready. So I packed all of this stuff. I did not pack it, unfortunately, in the ALLIE GLINES makeup bag, which is what this is. I'm going to show you those in this video as well. I'm so proud of her and her husband, Thailand. These are absolutely amazing. She is one of the sweetest people, and so is he, on YouTube. So genuine, so caring. She does natural makeup. I really, really like them, and I will support anything they do, and I highly recommend you guys do as well. If you guys are not new here, you guys have heard me talk about ALLIE before, but I will link her down below. Give her a follow and check out these bags. But I really was able to pack lightly with this makeup and get my makeup on, and it lasted all day long. So I thought that would be the perfect video to do for you guys today. So if that sounds like something you're interested in seeing, go ahead and keep watching. All right, you guys, before we get started, I did want to just show you quickly the ALLIE GLINES makeup storage bag. So I purchased the full storage. So it comes with the one I just showed you, another one of these, and then the small one. And this is just absolutely amazing. It also comes with this outer bag, which is awesome because if you're like me and you don't have a ton of storage in your apartment, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with a giant dining room, so I don't have that much storage, so I have to be really selective on what I keep. So having something like this with a bag is amazing, because if I did want to store this like under the bathroom sink like they were saying, you can protect it with a bag like that. I just think that's so ingenious and clever. So let me just put this guy in here so you guys can see how it all fits together. This is gigantic, and this was only $84. The quality is amazing. I'm not going to go too much into detail because I want you guys to check out her launch video, and she goes into detail about this, but it's truly, truly a labor of love. You can tell they really put a lot into thinking about the details, and it really, really shows. She even wrote me a personalized thank you letter, which is truly personalized. You guys, do you know how much? I know you know how much that means because I'm sure you've gotten a personalized thank you letter before, but it just means so much when someone takes the time to like look into who you are and say thank you. So thank you so much again, ALLIE and Thailand, for putting, first of all, this makeup storage out there. I think we were lacking something like this in the market, and I cannot wait to see what else you guys do in the future. I will be the first person in line to purchase it. All right, so now let's get into the makeup that I brought with me for my trip. So I pretty much got my makeup routine down to like 10 minutes. I'd wake up as late as possible because I was feeling super sick, and I was in Denver. And let me tell you, if you are sick and then you go to Denver when you don't live in a high altitude place, your body freaks out. I was bleeding in my nose, which is like totally TMI. I could barely talk. I was so stuffy, and I didn't want to take, I should say, like anything like a decongestant because I was already so dry. I didn't want to dry it out anymore. My face was dry. Right now, my scalp is dry. I have like a bunch of dandruff after getting back. So that is just not this Midwest flatland Chicago girls atmosphere to thrive in. So if you guys live in those areas, please tell me how you cope. I mean, I'm sure your body eventually adjusts, but I was having a hard time. So I would get in the shower as quick as possible, and then I'd allot about 10 minutes to get ready and get my makeup done. I think when people do like those 5-minute makeup routines, and I think I've done it in the past, you're just rushing so much throughout the entire thing. It's too stressful for me. So I like to, a lot more like 10-ish minutes for it, so I don't feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, gotta get going. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure I got most of this done in about 10 minutes, but I didn't time myself. So when I was packing, I narrowed it down to my most used products and brushes, right? So I have all of the brushes I talked about in my most recent favorite face brushes video. So I've got these 4 brushes here, and then I always bring just an eyeshadow brush to run through the crease if necessary. A lot of times my crease gets creasy because I have hooded eyes. So I brought my Wet n Wild P20, and then I brought my Ultra Ego number 7 brush, which is just a pencil brush for under the eye. I didn't end up doing any eyeshadow because I was not in the mood. I did bring a couple of eyeshadow products, and they are cream products because that's all I would do because they're so quick and so easy. I brought my Believe Beauty pink quartz and my vintage little glimmer pots. I really like these things, but I didn't end up using them at all because I just wasn't in the mood. But I always think that's a good idea just in case. They're easy to transport. There's a ton of brands that have those. I brought, you know what, instead of going through it that way, let's just start doing the makeup, and then I'll kind of announce to you what we have. But you could see, I'll just show you all of the makeup. By the way, I did end up bringing my Blendiful to see if I would use it, because the whole thing in that video, I was like, oh my gosh, I think this would be perfect for travel. I didn't end up using it at all. I was a little bit worried since I was so dry that it was gonna make me look a little more dry, and I didn't bring one of my like hydrating primers. So here is everything I brought with the tools out. Not a lot of makeup at all, just pretty much the bare essentials. So let's get going. I brought the Becca Skin Love Brighten and Blur Primer. I have fallen in love with this. You guys saw I got this a couple weeks back with the setting spray as well, which is what I brought. I just put it into a travel-friendly concealer. I definitely think, I just spit when I said that. Sorry if that was disgusting, but I think that this is a big part of the reason my makeup looked so good all day long, along with the other stuff. I should probably put my hair up, huh? Yeah, let's do that. Oh my gosh, am I orange? Christy, help. All right, I moved a little bit closer so you guys can see, and Theo is taking a bath over there. If you hear those little noises, I am getting a microphone. I've decided I need to put more into my channel to try to grow a little bit more. I really want to make this my full-time job. It's crazy that after going to my like actual jobs conference, it just made me want to be more aggressive with my YouTube channel and really grow it. So I'm gonna put some more into my videos this year and hopefully get a little bit more of a following. I love each and every one of you and appreciate each and every one of you. I would just really like to make this a career, so I'm gonna try to put a little bit more into that this year. But anyway, the Becca is on and it feels so good. I wish I had bought more of these when I purchased this because it was like 40% off at Ulta. Really good stuff. I really like Becca. They're such a consistent brand, and if you like more natural makeup like I do, their stuff is amazing. So let's go in with foundation. I know, you guys, that they are discontinuing this, but if you can get your hands on it for the price it is right now, it's like $4 at CVS, and they're still around. If they're around in Chicago, hopefully they're around in your area. The Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation, such a good product. A lot of us talked about this in my last video because I used it, and yes, it does have a smell. I was talking to one of you that I didn't think that it had a smell. It absolutely does. So let's all cross our fingers and say a prayer that the Physician Formula people are just reformulating this to take out the smell, and it's gonna come back out. And then a lot of you were saying they were getting rid of the doe foot applicator as well. I kind of like that personally. It makes things a bit easy, but yes, it is not as sanitary. So I'm using MW2 because I have a spray tan on that is coming off of my neck because I've been sweating like an absolute pig because I have been sick. And hopefully that's a good thing, and it's making, you know, my body get rid of whatever the heck is going on. If you guys have managed to get through winter without a cold, I am envious. I do have to tell you guys, if you're ever feeling like you have a cold coming on, you need to go pick up these wellness formula vitamins from Whole Foods. You can get them on Amazon as well. They are amazing. They really typically kick a cold in this butt, but you do need rest as well, and I was not able to rest during this conference. I had to get up and go even while being sick. By the way, I'm using my sponge. This is the AOA Studio Pawpaw sponge. This is $1.55 and they're amazing. But anyway, I was not able to, you know, sleep. You can see how much my skin is freaking out too. It's that time of the month for me, but I've got like bumps all over, and I think my skin's just like, girl, you just need to like give us a break for a second. I did have to wear makeup obviously every day of this trip since I did have a work thing going on, but typically I don't, you guys. I don't wear makeup unless I have something going on. It's definitely not a daily thing for me, but yeah, my skin's like, girl, lay off, you know what I mean? But this stuff is so good. Really hope that Physicians Formula does reformulate. Sorry, I just moved the camera, because not reformulate. I hope they keep the same formula because it's absolutely amazing. Obviously, when my tan is coming off, I'm gonna bring this down the neck so we, you know, look like we're one consistent color. I'm gonna bring it down here as well. But when I was on my trip, I was one consistent color, and I was also using my Drunk Elephant De-Bronzy. Speaking of that, do you guys wanna see a travel like skincare video? Because I can definitely do that. Like, leave a comment down below and let me know. And again, you guys are just gonna have to like trust me that I got this done in 10 minutes. I'm not gonna time myself because I'm gonna be talking to you. When I'm doing this in the morning, I'm obviously not talking to you. I'm usually watching Netflix. I watched The Pharmacist on Netflix, which is such a good documentary. Highly recommend you guys check it out. That's usually what I do when I'm getting ready. I just kind of listen to it. But I wanted to mention I also brought my No. 7 Match Made foundation drops. I brought a light one and a darker one because I didn't know if I was going to get darker because I did spray tan right before, and if it was going to come off and I was going to get a little bit lighter. So I brought those. I didn't end up needing either one of them, but that's always nice to bring when you're traveling and you have a spray tan. So let's go ahead and do concealer. I'm not trying to do like, I want to look perfect and seamless and flawless. I never, you know, look like that when I'm doing my makeup. I like to keep things very light and natural. So I'm not going to go too crazy, which I never really do anyway. So anyway, what I'm getting at is this is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I do need to get this in a darker shade. This is a touch too light, obviously, when I have a spray tan on, because this is the shade that I use when I have no spray tan on, but it works out okay. So I'm just gonna quickly blend that out, and I do not set this at all. It sets itself, and it does not budge all day long. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna leave the under eyes unset. They'll set themselves, but I do need to set the lids because those will crease. So I'm just taking my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in medium number 2, the longest name ever, on that Wet n Wild brush. And I'm just gonna, you know, set the eyes so I don't get any creasing in there. Sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you, it still does crease because it just does. I don't know why, but I try to at least prevent the majority of that. And if you did go in with that cream shadow, or if you did go in with eyeshadow, you'd be fine. I just typically do this, and I'll even do this with like my sponge. I'll just, you know, to get it on real quick, but sometimes I do this. All right, so as for eyebrows, you guys know eyebrows typically take a long ass time. So I'm not typically going in with a brow pencil and, you know, like really filling in. If I had the extra time, I would do it, which is why I bring it. This is the Milani Precision Brow in medium brown, but I did not do that at all on my trip. I just brought my ColourPop Brow Boss Gel in light brown, popped that in the brows, and I moved on with my day. I also did tint my eyebrows before I went, which always helps. Tinting brows and doing like a no chip really goes a long way. You guys can see, I need to brush that out, which I will in a second. But you guys can see just like it gives me a little more to my brow where I look, you know, a little more put together. but it's not too much. And I will set these up with my Benefit 24-hour brow set. But yeah, that's it. It's definitely not perfect, but it works. And let me tell you, I did not see anyone at that conference with perfect brows. It's really nice that my heater sounds like it's literally dripping water right now. Who knows? It probably is. It's also like 12 degrees in Chicago, so it's working overtime, so please excuse her. She sounds like she's tinkling in the background. Tinkling. It's funny, that's like a word that my aunt used to use. All right, so before that dries down, I just take my little Benefit 24-hour brow set. This is the travel version, which I like so much more because you go through it slowly, like the large size, so it always ends up getting kind of clumpy and icky. So the small size works a lot better for me. That's what I'll be purchasing from now on, and it really works when you're traveling. So I just get that up in my brows and set them up how I want them. I don't know how that ColourPop doesn't make a mess. It just like really clings on to only your brow hairs, and that's it. So that's it for the brows. Like I said, they are absolutely not perfect. They're just, you know, a little darker looking and a little more put together, but not like Instagram browy. Okay, so the star of the show here, the Becca Khloe Malika palette. This is the Khloe version. Love her to travel with. She is amazing. She is my bronzer, she is my blush, and she is my highlight. So it makes a huge, huge difference. There's a lot of brands who have palettes like these, but you can find these still online. Might still be on HauteLook, might still be on Becca's website. I stocked up on these, so I'm gonna go ahead and bronze with my Japanesque brush, and then we'll blush and we'll highlight all in the same palette. And again, I'm not trying to like carve out my cheekbones with this or anything. I'm just trying to make it look like I have some dimension in my face again. I don't want like a whole big clump of bronzer on my face so people, you know, are like, you look like you've been on a tropical vacation. That's not the look we're going for. We're just going for, you know, a little more dimension to the face after going in with a foundation. And I will definitely bring that, you know, like down the neck, especially on a day like today. I just whistled when I have like some patchiness going on in the neck because the tan is coming off. But I'm gripping to it with everything I possibly have because I have been nothing but pale lately. And then the same thing with that Wet n Wild brush. I'll just dip right into that bronzer and I'll go right here, right into like my crease area like this to give some dimension there. I'm not trying to build anything out. It just gives me a little bit of dimension, and I love how it looks when I bring my bronzer right in here to just kind of deepen that area. It just looks so pretty to me. It makes my eyes look a little larger, and again, it just kind of makes everything look like you've got dimension going on. I know I sound like a broken record, but you know, once you put foundation and concealer on, everything looks really flat. So it's really nice to bring a little bit of dimension back. And this takes, when you're not talking and filming a YouTube video, 10 seconds. Sometimes I'll also just kind of like fade that down the eye like this just to, you know, give a little bit of color on the lid. I already set it obviously with that Charlotte Tilbury powder, but I do that sometimes. Sometimes I'll just leave it in the crease. Sometimes I'll bring it under the eye with that pencil brush, the ColourPop number 7. I didn't end up doing that on the trip because I just was too lazy, but yeah, it takes 2 seconds. So let's go in and use our blush now. I was about to say highlight, but we need to blush first. So I'm grabbing that Japanesque 722 brush and I dip into both of them. I dip right back and forth. Usually I'll focus a little bit more on this one because it's a little bit darker. And then I'll just go ahead and blush. Not looking for a ton of blush. I was so red on this trip because I wasn't feeling good. And I'm still red and my skin has some problems going on. So I'll just kind of, you know, pop my cheek and make that weird face and then blush. Blush, not bronze. What's really nice about this stuff as well is it does have a bit of a sheen to it, so you don't even need to highlight if you didn't want to. You've already got a little bit of like a sheen to your face with this, which just makes everything look a little bit healthier. And for a sickie like I was on this trip, really helped my situation. And then sometimes I'll just take my bronzer and I'll just run over that just to like blend it in, or I'll take my beauty sponge and just, you know, run along the edges here, but I didn't have a lot of time to do that during my trip. So I just go right into highlight. This is my Anastasia A23 going into this highlight, and I am just really keeping it light here. I did not want to look like I was glowing from across the room. So, you know, Steve over there across the room could see my cheek. I just, you know, kept it really, really light. So the lightest hand ever, holding at the base of the ferrule, just like this. And then I just, you know, whatever was left, kind of bring it up there, there, and there, and there. I didn't want to add a ton. Where I did want to add a ton was in the inner corner, so it looked like I was more awake. So I have that alter ego number 7. I'm just gonna pop it right in the inner corners. So when people looked at me, it looked like I was bright-eyed. All right, so at this point, like I always do, after all my powders are on my face, I'll go ahead and set. This is a Skindinavia makeup finishing spray travel container, but it's empty, so I did fill it up with my Becca Skin Love, the one that came along with this. Whatever setting spray you have, go ahead and use. That's just what I had available. So I'll shake this up and I'll spray my face a couple of times. It smells so good. And I was definitely sure to spray my neck as well because I wore a lot of like white blouses. We're not wearing tees to a professional corporate event. And I didn't want to get any makeup on that, especially if I was bringing it down the neck. So I'll just go ahead and pat that out. To be honest, I just kind of went like this when I was at the hotel, but I've got the time now, so. And I ended up getting really, really dry on my forehead, like really dry where you could like see skin kind of flaking off, probably because I had a fever and I set my heat to like 85 in my hotel room and probably breeded bacteria, which is absolutely disgusting. But that setting spray really helped kind of rectify that situation. So if you've got like some dry skin situation going on, you know, focus your setting spray a little bit more there and it might help it out. All right, we're almost done here. Can you believe it? And I feel like everything looks fantastic. So I brought a couple of eyeliners. I brought a black, a brown, and a nude. Didn't end up using the black and brown at all, but you absolutely could. I'm gonna grab the brown. This is the LA Girl Glide On Gel Liner, and I'm just gonna add that right to the upper waterline to make my lash line look a little bit thicker. Do not have to do this. I just feel like doing it today. But this is like one of the steps that I would absolutely eliminate if I was, you know, short on time because it's just not necessary. And then I'll grab my Rimmel Scandalize in nude and I will line the lower waterline. Again, this is something I did every day to kind of make my eyes look a little more awake, especially feeling sick. Do I look more awake now? I typically don't show that process on camera because I feel like a lot of people don't like when people like tight line and like almost touch their eye, but I never leave it in, so I'm gonna leave it in for this one. Next step, curl the lashes. I'm just using a Shuuimura, right? No, that's the one that everybody likes. This is a Shiseido. Is that how you pronounce that? I sure hope so. You guys will correct me if I'm wrong though. I just gave my lashes a really nice curl. Again, this kind of helps you look a little more awake. If you are going on like a vacation, highly, highly recommend lash extensions for something like that. It just really cuts down the time. But I'm just gonna go in with my Maybelline Snap Mascara and I am only adding this to the top lashes. That's what I did and that's typically what I do. One, I think it makes me look a little bit more awake and it just cuts down on time and the potential for at, you know, 10 o'clock when you're at dinner or well, 10 o'clock's not happy hour, but you know what I mean. If it's 10 o'clock and you've had all your makeup on, sometimes your mascara can kind of run down. So I'm just gonna do a nice light coat, not going for anything intense here. And I find the more layers I do, the more potential I have for the mascara to transfer. So I only really did one layer, but I do go in and coat them like quite a few times. The more I'm listening to the sound of that radiator, the more I'm excited to go get that microphone today. So right after I finish this video, I'm gonna pop over to Best Buy and buy that microphone. Okay, so I would let that dry down and typically right before I walked out the door, I would give my lashes one more curl. I know some people say that that makes your lashes fall out. Never had an issue with that personally, so do whatever works for you, but I just felt like that really made me look awake and it really held the curl. So the last thing I did was lips, and then make sure to obviously brush your teeth before you do that. So I had 2 lip colors with me. I always keep one in my purse and one in my hotel room. I have Believe Soft Rose and Believe Vintage Romance. This is Vintage Romance. It's a little more like purpley, nudie, pinky. So I'm gonna go in with Soft Rose, which is like my favorite. And the reason I always bring these is because they have a really nice kind of like sheen to them. So your lips look healthy without having to put on a gloss, but you know I put on a gloss because I am a gloss girl now. So I just kind of lightly stained my lips with this so it didn't look too heavy or too out of control. Most people, as I was looking around, because I was looking at her makeup and her makeup and her makeup, didn't have any lip product on at all except for chapstick. So I didn't want to like go in full force. So that's it. And when I would touch up throughout the day, that's pretty much all I go in with. But I am going to go in with, you guys guessed it, my L'Oreal Glowing Lip Gloss in See You Soon. All right, you guys, and that is it. How pretty is this makeup? Does it look absolutely perfect and flawless? No, but it looks put together, and that is all I'm looking for when it comes to going to like a work meeting, or even if you had a non-work meeting, if you had to like get ready for brunch or something like that, and you were going out with friends and you just wanted to look put together. This is my go-to makeup. It really does only take 10 minutes. The container is empty. I love these containers. I want each and every one of you to go subscribe to ALLIE and then follow shop ALLIE Glines on Instagram, and then of course follow her on Instagram. I'm sure all of you are already. If you're following me, I'm sure you know who she is, but I cannot wait to travel with all these makeup bags. I'm gonna use the other ones for like my skincare. Again, let me know if you wanna see my skincare video, my like travel skincare, or if you wanna see like what I pack when I go on a work trip or something like that. I know most of you are probably, you know, in the same kind of situation, even if it's not like a work trip, if it's just like a trip you're going on with like friends and family or something like that, and you want to like kind of pack a little more minimally, I can show you the kind of things I do for that. So just let me know below. But I think this is so pretty. It seriously holds up all day long. I was absolutely shocked when I'd get back into my room at like midnight and everything would still look absolutely amazing. I was like, wow, this is working for me. So I'm gonna go stock up on all of these I could possibly find. You guys do the same, as well as everything else. I love every single product, and that's the key when you are traveling with your makeup. Use products that you know and you love. You don't want to travel with, you know, like products that you're testing or haven't used a lot. Otherwise, you could end up with a disaster on your hands. So that is it for this one, you guys. I hope you found this video somewhat helpful and educational. I know it wasn't so much of a tutorial, but I have a ton of those videos on my channel. If you guys are new here, thank you so much for getting to this point in the video. Make sure to subscribe and follow me on Instagram as well. My animals are all over my Instagram. I do keep the Instagram feed makeup related, and I always let you guys know on there when I post a new video, but I have a French bulldog and I have two very funky looking cats who are all over my Instagram stories. So thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.